just follow the advice of your own body over the advice of my voice. See if you can do the movements the way I'm leading them, in the alignment that I'm leading them. But don't stress out if it doesn't look a certain type of way. We're not looking for textbook specific. Don't take my internet. Okay. We're not looking for textbook specific poses here. We're looking to leave the mat feeling better than you felt walking on. So always be mindful of your joints specifically. If they're calling out and they're hurting you, then you want to back off. If like the muscle groups like your thighs, your calves, you know, your chest even is starting to feel sore or like it's doing a lot of work, then that's great. You just want to like keep pushing that a breath longer than you think you can hold it. So we'll start seated as we always do in a comfortable position. That might be on a chair, wherever you might be, and or on the floor, like seated, cross-legged. I like being seated cross-legged. I'm just sitting right at the edge of a folded blanket, just to help with that little anterior tilt, kind of the natural S curve of the spine. Chest comes over hips, head over heart. Just take a moment here to silence all of your buttony, beepy things. Hands come to rest on the lap, either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy. Feel you got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable, or lower to a soft gaze just beyond your legs. And we'll start with 3 cleansing breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth. On the inhale, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and on the audible exhale, they drop down. Just allowing the breath to continue in and out through the nose, if that's available. And we'll just take a moment here to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And just become present to yourself here in this moment, here in this space. Allowing sounds into your awareness. Perhaps the sound of rain or passing traffic outside the window. And the ticking of a clock or shuffling of a pet somewhere in the room. Allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment. And feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Notice the feeling of your clothes on your body. Waistband or neck tag. Feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. And the weight of your hands on your knees. And begin to scan your body from head down towards toes. Anamaya kosha, scanning the body for any places of tightness or sensitivity, any restlessness or fidgeting. And just taking a note to work into those spaces that call out for your attention throughout your practice here today. Bringing the awareness up to pranamaya kosha, the energy body. Noticing on a scale of 1 to 10 where you are at in this moment. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to go back to bed. 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. Bringing the attention to the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. Bring the awareness up to the mind. Manomaya kosha. Allowing thoughts and feelings to arise without engaging with them, without pushing them down or interacting. Just observe them from a distance. Notice what are the quality of the thoughts today. Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not good or bad, not right or wrong, just something to notice. And bring the attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding that breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Inhales, filling belly like a balloon, the belly expands. And exhales, release the belly, deflating belly button pulls in towards spine. Inhale, fills belly and ribs expand. Exhale, releases ribs, then belly. Inhale, fills belly, ribs, and chest, air filling all the way up to the collarbones. And exhale, releases chest, ribs, belly. Breathing like this in 3 parts. Belly up. And exhaling, chest down. And Dirga Pranayam, 3-part breath. I'm focusing on expanding the breath and really working in collaboration with the body to make space for more breath in those 3 parts. Seated up tall, unclenching the jaw, shoulders are relaxed. And the next time you exhale, releasing any effort from the breath, just returning to a natural breath space. And bring hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers and the thumbs are pressing into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or dedication for your practice. It can be the same sankalpa you've been working with all month, or something new might inspire you today. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap. Chin drops towards chest. And on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest. Left ear towards left shoulder. Just allowing the head to gently roll side to side. Good morning, Oya, Hydrangea. Got meetings. Good luck on your meetings. I don't know if you're already in them, but look forward to seeing you later. Maybe you'll make it in time to shake and then Savasana. And the next time the head rolls through center, just begin to roll the shoulders forward. Your eyes can still be closed for this part of class. There's no wrong way to do it, just working into your own body. And change directions, rolling the shoulders back. And slowly work down the body, warming it up. And inhaling, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, right arm releases down, left arm reaches over for a side, body stretch. Inhale up through center. And exhale over to the left. Just going side to side like this, inhaling. You can smooth it out a bit more. And exhaling to bend. So we're already beginning to calibrate the speed of the body to the length of the breath. Now attempting to deepen the breath, deepen our connection with the breath. Back up to center, and we'll take a twist to the right. Left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands on the ground behind, and the chest just opens gently to the side wall. Inhale, bringing you back up through center. And exhale, twisting, like bringing out a sponge. Following the breath in to rise. And out to twist. In to rise. Out to twist. We got 2 more like this, following your own breath's pace. Back to center. Elbows bend. Just warm up the hands and wrists, giving a wave. And play piano. So my elbows aren't moving, just my wrists, just focusing on the wrists and the tendons and ligaments of the hands. Palms flip towards the sky. My hands are pressing back as far as they can. And once again, we're rotating. So this movement for me got some like gnarly grinding going on in my right wrist. Probably from all the drawing and like video editing and whatnot that I do. Probably some of the doom scrolling. So this helps undo some of that. This is just like the opposite movement for the hand than what we tend to do a lot of. So, and it's kind of intense. Like your forearms should begin to feel a bit fatigued from this effort of pressing the hands back. Let's give it a gentle shake out. Hello, Eric on Facebook. Hello, hello. Just a gentle shake of water off. Okay. Let's do a little bit of neck resiliency work here, like we have been working on. Well, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what's going on, but you can stay facing the screen if you need to look to see what the movement looks like. So the chest stays over, the whole body stays still basically, just the head and neck are going to move, chin tucks towards chest, and then my nose is trying to touch the ground. When it can't go any further, it goes forward as if it's going to touch the wall in front, up as if it's going to touch the ceiling, and back until it can't go no further, and chin tucks back in towards chest. So I'm smoothing out that whole trajectory, that whole movement, to really get the full edges of my range of motion. I mentioned this before, my friend Rome, who does functional movement and like primal movement type trainings, he taught me this, and it helped correct so many issues in my neck. And somebody who's been practicing with us all month shared that of all the parts of his body that are sore from class, and it's like his first real time practicing yoga consistently, it's this stuff that that was surprising to him, that his neck is actually sore. Like, it's probably because you're actually building muscles and opening up new spaces in there, because your head's quite heavy, you know? I'm going to change directions. So now the chin will be leading. Goes up, as if the chin's going to touch the front wall, as if the chin's going to touch the ground, and scoops back in. So just mindful here that the shoulders aren't moving. The shoulders are completely still, completely relaxed by the sides. And bring it back to center. Just give it a little head tilt side to side. Shake it off. And bring the legs out in front. Begin to spread and scrunch the toes and wake up the lower legs. Just need a sip of my dandelion tea. Oh, that doesn't look like coffee. Solid coffee replacement. Okay. Solid caffeine-free coffee replacement. Let me just be more specific about that. So, legs are coming out in front. Spread and scrunch the toes. Roll out the ankles. Change directions. And bend in the knees and give the knees a drop side to side. So I'm letting them go all the way. I completely release down here. I get a stretch here. And like inner groin is like waking up a little bit. Depending what in your body feels tight in this area is gonna be what you should feel. So don't stop here, just let it go all the way. No rush. Then you're gonna let both knees open up as the feet come together, setting up for seated Baddha Konasana. This can also be nice with actually a blanket below your hips. And then I just shift forward so that my butt comes right off the edge. So, explain this. How can I explain this? So, here I am, and then I'm just gonna shift forward. So all the meaty, all the booty is still on the mat, but my bones, my sits bones, are on the ground. That helps tilt my hips forward. It's called an anterior tilt. Posterior tilt, anterior tilt. Anterior tilts are going to help you in your forward folds so that you don't strain your lower back and you can get deeper into them. So, feet are together. I'm letting my knees splay open to the sides, and I'm just going to use this moment to give my feet a little bit of a massage. Start running again. So my feet definitely deserve a little bit more love. And soft massage is actually a pretty big part of Ayurveda, self-care. It's the ancient Indian study of science of life, Veda life. So it's like the sister science of yoga, and it includes yoga in ways as well. Many of my friends are trained in it. I'm not, but I have picked up quite a few tidbits through osmosis, through reading books. So, yeah. So self-massage is called abhyanga in yoga, but that includes oil. So it's about oiling the body through self-massage. We We're not going to use oil because that would make all the poses following this incredibly difficult and unnecessarily difficult. But yeah, just kind of get in some self-love where you can, you know? I always like just like opening my feet almost like a book. That's kind of like how I work into this massage. Then the hands can come onto the ankles or the legs, wherever it kind of feels good for you. So you take a deep breath in. It's like a back bend almost. I'm arching the back. Deep breath in, get tall. And exhale, folding forward. You might press your elbows into the knees. I'm not pressing so hard to like press my knees to the ground and like break any personal records or anything. It's just a little bit of leverage, just a little bit of weight in the knees so that it feels like a nice, good stretch in the hips. Nothing too intense. It might feel good to let the head hang heavy, but if that brings pain to your lower back, then just keep the nose towards toes kind of movement. Just got 2 deep breaths here. We'll press it back up to seated. Drop both knees over to the right, and we'll come into hands and knees into tabletop pose. Bring chat with me. Place a blanket up overhead, and you are going to need a better view. There we go. Awesome. So here we are in tabletop pose. Hands under shoulders, shoulders over wrists. Hands below shoulders, hips over knees. Inhaling, belly drops, hips and chest rise for a cow pose. And exhaling, rounding the spine, chin tucks towards chest, cat pose. Inhaling through cow, hands are pressing down and back, knees are pressing down and forward like I'm trying to scrunch the mat together. And exhale, rounding the spine, hands are pressing down and forward, knees are pressing down and back like I'm trying to rip my mat apart. Connecting once again with the breath, the speed of the body informed by the length of the breath. And the next time you exhale into your cat pose, fully exhale here, really press all the air out and release back to neutral. We'll step the right foot up between the hands, left foot steps up to meet it. Big toes, heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat, nice and wide. We'll just begin to bend and extend one leg and the other, just beginning to wake up the backs of the legs. And a little bend to the knees, we'll give the head a nod yes. And a shake no. Grab opposite elbows. Just give yourself coming into ragdoll, creating a frame for the head with the arms. It's just a little free movement here, kind of like making this like infinity sign kind of thing, bending one knee and then the other, waving side to side. You can bob forward and back and center. It's like using gravity, the weight of the head, to elongate the spine. So knees can be as bent as necessary to make that happen so that your hamstrings don't feel like they're about to snap or anything. We'll gently release the arms, heel toe the feet together, big toes come to touch, just a little space between the heels. We'll roll up like the second half of a Jefferson curl. No effort in the arms at all. One vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. Arms sweep up when you get there and we'll turn to face one another. Big toes are touching and the hands interlace in steeple pose. So that looks like fingers interlace, like you're holding your own hand, and then index fingers release. So you're pointing up towards the sky and the palms are glued together. So in steeple pose here, try to see me. Yeah? Okay. Then the arms come straight. So biceps are by the ears. And we're elongating in the spine. I think I'm really dark. Like, is that helping? Hopefully. Okay. So we were talking about the anterior posterior tilt in the lower back before. So when we were trying to go into a forward fold, we came into an anterior tilt. Like you're sticking your butt out like Daffy Duck butt. And then a posterior tilt is going to be rounding like in cow pose. Oh, sorry, like in cat pose. Here we're trying to find the middle. So you can even put your hands on your hips here and feel the tilting of your hips. It's like a bowl. It's called your pelvic bowl. So if you were a cup of tea, if your pelvic bowl is a cup of tea, it would spill out the front this way or spill out the back that way. You want to be right in the middle for this next pose that we're doing. Yeah? So, arms are up overhead, fingers interlace, steeple pose, index fingers release, palms are glued together. And it's like a little tuck, a little engagement of the lower abs so that the lower back gets long and we have no tilt, no anterior or posterior tilt, no S curve even in the spine. It's all straight. Deep breath in to get tall. And exhale over to the right. Hips press out to the left to counterbalance, making a crescent moon shape in the body. This right shoulder is going to have a tendency to pull back, but instead we want to press it forward and pull the left shoulder back. So we're keeping the chest open, almost like we're going to open our chest up towards the ceiling, but not quite. We're just keeping it parallel to the wall in front. Legs are strong, no bend in the knees. It's tempting to want to bend this right knee, but we're going to keep it strong instead. Tempting to want to bend the elbows, we keep them strong instead. Crescent moon. Another deep breath here. And back up through center. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Take a moment here to elongate the lower back. It's like tucking in of the lower abs to elongate there. Deep breath in. And exhale over to the left. Hips press out to the right to counterbalance. Triceps are back by the ears. Arms are strong. And the palms, they're going to peel away, but we're just going to try and press them together. This left shoulder is pressing forward. Chest stays open parallel to the wall in front of you. Whole right side body deeply stretching, deeply opening here, pressing the feet into the ground. Breathing into that right hip, into the right side of the rib cage, opening up all the spaces in between the ribs. Bring it back up through center. We'll take a step out to the left and right. The arms come down. Just let them come all the way down. Roll out the shoulders a couple times. Okay. Then heels come in, toes come out. Arms open like the letter T. Thumbs up towards the sky. Palms open. This is called star pose. So this is like the perfect example of you can be in the shape of a pose without actually being in the practice of a pose, because right here I'm just in the shape. So we're going to activate to actually get into the posture. Feet are pressed into the ground, legs activated. And when I say activate, I mean flexed, like flex your legs, almost like you're gonna pull your heels together on the mat. Arms are reaching out, fingertips are reaching for either wall in front of you, shoulder blades squeezed together like you're squeezing a pencil between them, and even the crown of the head is reaching towards the sky. So we're radiating out in 5 directions. Star pose, deep breath in. Exhale, bend in the knees, bend in the elbows, goddess. So I'm trying to keep my knees over my ankles to the best of my ability. I want to like cave in towards center, but I'm just counteracting that, pressing the knees back. They're not perfectly over the ankles, but you know, my hips are working towards it. My elbows are working towards 90 degrees, shoulder blades squeezed together. Full breath here. And then back up through star pose. The right toes face the short end of your mat. Left toes face the long edge of the mat. Bring a little bit more space between my legs. Hands can come onto the hips here. We're going to drop the right hip down. So it's like I'm a little teapot. We're just hopping down. Spout reaches towards that side wall, that front wall. And then just turn the chest. So from here, I'm reaching, can't go any further. Just drop that bottom arm down so that the hand really releases onto the bottom calf muscle, and stack the left hand on top, creating one long line of energy. Even if I know, and I do know, I have the flexibility to get my hand down to the floor, instead I want to work on strengthening these obliques by pressing the bottom hand into the thigh and create a sticking point, so it's almost like whatever pressure you're going to put on the ground on your wrist, instead press it into the leg, using it as leverage to keep the chest open towards the side wall, the top hand up towards the sky. So almost a feeling of someone's helping you out, pulling you up towards the ceiling here. Deep breath in. And exhale, bend in the knees, bend in the right knee, hand comes to frame that front foot, like runner's lunge. And then get a little stretch on this thigh here by straightening out the leg, by pressing the back of the knee towards the sky. Then walk your hands towards the long side of the mat, towards me, turning the right knee and toes towards the camera, towards the long side of your mat. Coming into Skandasana, side squat here. It's different than a little bit different variation than we worked on the other day, which had our heel down. Instead now we're on top of the toes. So we're working on this yogi toe stretch for the whole month. So here we get to put it into practice. Yeah, so it goes toes and then heel, and then my hip is coming to rest on top of that heel. This standing leg can stay here, pressing the foot, pinky side edge into the ground, or you can even rotate it up towards the sky. That feels better on my hips, it's easier for me to balance. Maybe you do continue to play with that balance, bringing the hands onto the thigh, or even to heart center. And if you fall, it's all good. You're just resetting, beginning again. We'll bring it through center, Malasana. So I bring this extended foot in and then shift my hips to center. My feet are like super spread out just naturally, but then I just bring them in as if they're gonna face perfectly forward, and they kind of end up somewhere in the middle, 45 degrees. Elbows are pressed into the center of my knees, much like in our Baddha Konasana. And then my knees want to fall into center. Like I want to sit, my body just like wants to sit down and have my knees knocked together. So I'm trying to counteract that with the elbows, which is a lot of muscle strength. So instead I just use leverage. Hands pressed together, and they make their way down to a 180-degree line, and that's going to hold my knees in place. I need to adjust the spacing of the heels. Maybe you need a little bit more space between the heels, or even a little bit less. I'm letting my hips be heavy so that my head can be over my heart heart is over my hips. So it's a straight line, like my back is pressed up against a wall, to the best of my ability. So if you're here right now, no worries, this is just the direction. The direction is hips down and forward, chest up and back. Hips down and forward, chest up and back. Malasana, deep squat. And hands come to frame the left foot at the back of the mat. We come into runner's lunge. You're facing the back of your mat now. Little stretch there. We're extending the right heel towards the ground, the knee towards the sky. And then hands come to the inside of the left foot. So both my hands are inside my right foot on the ground. I drop the right heel to the ground, pressing into the pinky side edge, and right arm opens up towards the sky. So we're in a little bit of a collapsed extended side angle here. Just for a moment, because we're pressing into that front leg to straighten it out to come into Trikonasana triangle pose. So once again, this top hand stacks over bottom hand, creating one nice long line of energy. And the bottom hand's pressing into that meaty part of the calf to use as leverage to keep the chest open. So hips and chest are open towards the long side of the mat. It's like you're between two panes of glass here, trying to get as flat as possible. And that front knee bends, warrior two. Back heel comes in, star. Goddess, bending in the knees, bending in the elbows. Back through star. Toes come forward, hands and feet step together, arms release down. Okay, you can take a sip of water. Am I so dehydrated? I think I must have eaten salty food yesterday. I'm so dehydrated. Oh, I did actually. So we got sushi with functional alcoholic. Screen name, not actually what I call him in real life. Alright, so here we're meeting back over here, and as we know, lunar cycles and yoga cycles in general, what we do on one side we must do on the other to even out. Arms sweep up overhead. Fingers interlace. Change the interlace. So right now this right finger is on top. Now the left finger is on top. It's the awkward grip in the hands. Okay. It's creating those new neural pathways. Big toes are touching, a little space between the heels. Index fingers release for steeple pose. Palms glued together or attempting to be there. The shoulders are somehow, are away from the ears. So they're not scrunching it up here. Nope, shoulder blades are pulling it down, keeping them in place. A little tuck of the lower back, so we're not arching. Just a little bit of a tuck to keep lengthen the lower back here. Deep breath in to get tall, strong in the arms. Exhale over to the left. Hips press out to the right, making a crescent moon shape in the body. Pressing the bottom shoulder forward. Legs are strong. It's very tempting to want to bend in this, bend in the knees, but we just keep them long and strong instead. No bend in the elbows. Full breathing here. Breathing into all those intercostal muscles. That's the space between the rib cage. So we're making space there for deeper breaths later on. No bend in the elbows. We're keeping the arms strong. Opening the whole side body and bring it back up to center. Take a step out to the left and to the right. Arms open up like the letter T. Heels come in, toes come out. Thumbs towards the sky. There we go. Star pose, reaching for that breath in. And exhale, bend in the knees, bend in the elbows for goddess. So, strong in the glutes. I'm trying to keep my knees over my heels. just like in Warrior 2, squeeze the glutes to help open the hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades together to help open the chest. Full breath here. Then back through star, arms and legs extend. The left toes turn to face the short end of the mat, right toes turn to face long end of the mat. Like bringing a little bit more space between the legs. Hands come onto the hips, and I drop the left hip. So like a teapot, drop, spout reaches towards the front wall, and then just the arm releases down as the right arm reaches up towards the sky. So one long line of energy here for our Trikonasana triangle pose. Bottom hand's pressing into the leg for leverage. You can look down at that hand or up at the top hand for a neck stretch, so you're even more flat here, like a hieroglyphic. If looking up at your top hand brings any pain to your neck, the trick is to bring your chin in towards your chest and then turn it up towards the hand. It just helps align the cervical spine, the neck in a little bit of a healthier way. If you're like, what pain? I don't feel any pain, then just the way you're doing it, I'm sure it's just fine. We've got one more breath here. Bend in the left knee, runner's lunge. Stretch here, pressing the heel back, pressing the knee up towards the sky, pressing the hips down. So as the legs from here down press up, the hip is pressing down to counterbalance, getting a nice thigh stretch. Then walk your hands towards the long end of the mat as the left knee and foot turn to face that right side, that long side. And turn onto the heel, and I'm seated on top of the heel here. So deep toe stretch. Bottom of the foot getting really stretched out here. Yeah. We can start playing with that balance. Skandasana, deep side squat. You can play with the flex of the extended leg foot as well. We're going to bring it into Malasana, deep squat. So let's bring that extended leg in, maybe halfway, and then shift my hips towards center, allowing both heels to drop towards the ground. Maybe they touch. We're working towards getting the heels touching. If they don't touch, you can bring a blanket underneath your heels. Just keep working towards it. The hips are pressing down and forward. The chest is pressing up and back. Remember, the tendency is the knees are going to want to knock in, so we just use our own body to leverage against that. The elbows come to center, palms press together, and they come down to make a long line with the forearms 180 degrees or towards it. So the elbows keep the knees, almost like flying buttresses, stable. Chest tall, deep breath in here. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale through center. Exhale over left shoulder. Inhale, center. And hands come to frame the right foot. Left leg extends back for a runner's lunge. Pressing the left heel back. Knee towards the sky to get a stretch in the calf. Maybe a stretch in the hip as the hips press up, in the thigh as the hips press forward. Right knee is over right ankle. Both hands come to the inside of this right foot. Drop the left heel down to the ground, and left arm sweeps open to the sky. So it's like a collapsed, extended side angle. Deep breath in here. And the exhale, press through that front leg to straighten it out, coming into our Trikonasana triangle pose. So I'm pressing into the pinky side edge of my left foot, into the heel of my right foot, and bottom hand's pressed into the calf. There's a lifted type feeling coming from the sky, from the top arm. And maybe the head turns to face the opposite hand to give the neck an even stretch. Trikonasana, triangle pose. We'll bend in the front knee through warrior two. Hands come parallel to the ground. Then bringing the, bringing in the left heel. Toes come out, both legs straighten for star. Bend in both knees and elbows, goddess. Then back through star. Toes face the front wall and step the feet together. Arms come together, arms release down by the sides. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And just begin to a little shake out. Shake out of the hands, shake out of the shoulders. I'm just going to come into a bit of a lymphatic shake. Just over a minute here. So, we are just bringing a bounce to the body. Just letting the body like jiggle and kind of flop a bit. You can make this happen by just lifting and dropping the heels. You can do like a full jump too. Those like personal trampolines are awesome for this. I have one, but it's in the other room. But yeah, totally take trampoline jumping breaks. It's a daily life kind of thing. Probably had one of those for the last 6 years. 0 regrets. And when you're like, okay, I'm tired of doing this, I don't even want to do this anymore, just like 2x the speed. This is great for the lymphatic system. Helps move fluid and toxins out of the body. Helps relieve stress, and in some studies even helps relieve trauma. Shaking is something that we naturally do as children when we're afraid. We're kind of taught to stop doing that as adults. So we're like meant to be the people comforting the children. If you ever cried so much that you've shaken, like that's pretty similar to like a natural response. Little kids do, dogs do it. Like antelopes and bunnies, after they escape almost being hunted down, they shake it off too. So, yeah. Shaking is really good for you. Just got like 10 more seconds of this. Then we're going to come into our breath of joy. It's a 4-part breath to alleviate tension, and it looks like this. Whew, I'm all tingly from that. Cool. So, soften the knees. It's an inhale, 1/3 of your air capacity in as the arms sweep forward. Inhale, no exhale in between. Another 1/3 of your air capacity in as the arms sweep open and out. Inhale, the rest of your air capacity in, arms sweep up and forward, and a big ha out. Arms sweep back and down, like through chair pose. So it looks like this. In, ha! And it's just like a loud yell and like expression of sound and breath. Okay? Now let my feet be nice and wide, like shoulder distance. We got 10 of these. In, ha! In, ha! In, ha! 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 3 left. If you haven't joined in, now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! Okay. Coming to stand with feet nice and wide. Hand comes to the belly, hand comes to the heart, eyes can close. Just take a moment here to see what was created. Perhaps body temperature rose, perhaps heart rate rose. What else showed up for you today? Just taking the snow globe that is our bodies and giving them a righteous shake. Now we observe to see where that glitter dust settles. And gently blink your eyes open. And grab a sip of water. Towel off any sweat that last exercise might have brought up for you. I'm just going to rearrange my mat. I'm sure you guys are just fine, just the way you are. Bring chat over with me. If you are on the ground already, stay there, come meet you. If you're not, we'll meet at the end of the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees deep, 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 so deep that you come to seated. Beautiful. Okay, so turning to the side, just grab a blanket and have it just behind you. You don't have to be perpendicular to your mat. Just have the blanket behind you. You're going to hug the knees in, and when we roll off, we want the head to land on the ground. Okay, I just need to move back. Got it. Light would help. Yeah? Boom, baby. Okay, so when I lay down, I want my head to touch the ground, and my shoulders to be on the mat. So my neck is following the curve of the blanket. It's not like necessarily touching it, but it's just right at the edge. Hands are down by the sides. I bring my feet in close to my hips, and I'm going to just give a tuck to the lower back, tuck to the hips so that the lower back comes and press into the ground, and then peel up off the ground one vertebra at a time, pressing up for bridge pose. And here I'm going to tuck my shoulders under so that my triceps are pressing into the ground, helping with that lift. Glutes are squeezed tight to protect the lower back. Thighs are pressing towards the sky. Maybe the hands come below the shoulders, fingers interlace like we played with before. We're not coming to steeple, but maybe you're trying to get your palms to touch one another. Feet are my heels are really what's pressing into the ground. I'm not allowing my knees to splay open or knock together. They're right in the middle. And the head straight up towards the sky too. Trying to avoid compromising the neck at all. Setu Bandhasana bridge pose. I'm breathing fully here so deeply that I can see the rise and fall of my belly past my nose.
One more deep breath here. And like pressing rewind, we'll unlace the fingers, untuck the shoulders, and release one vertebra at a time. Upper back, middle to lower back, and I do that by shifting my hips towards my heels for the descent. My feet out nice and wide. You can drop the knees side to side. Releasing whatever tension got brought up there. Okay, from here we're going to come into a shoulder stand. So this is really important while you have the towel underneath you, especially for those of you practicing on tile or really, really hard floor. This is really important. There's a bone that connects your neck to your transverse spine. So it's like that big one, connection point. We don't want that grinding into the floor. We want that nice supported and cushioned by this blanket or pillow. Maybe you have blanket would be best, or a towel equally good. We want it squished into that. So here's the game. The knees are going to come in, like tuck in towards the face really fast, and we're going to catch our hips. So knees come in, and I'm going to catch my hips. It might take a couple of rounds. And then the elbows move in towards one another, just like we did in bridge pose. Like they're going to touch, even though they're not going to. And as we straighten the legs up towards the sky, I'm using my hands to hold my hips. So this is a lot of weight on your wrists. I'm just going to look up. So you want to keep the gaze up towards the feet, not compromise the neck. So how do we alleviate this weight on the wrists? We bring the weight over the chest instead. So we walk the hands up the back to bring the hips closer to vertical over the chest. So it goes feet, knees, and hips in alignment with the chest, with the shoulders. So it's called shoulder stand. My hands are barely doing any of the work. The back of my arms, like my elbows, are pressed into the ground for a little bit of a kickstand kind of action here. Fingers on my back is really just extra. There is a choke in the throat here, so constricted breathing can lead to feelings of panic, and just breathe through it. Just know that you're okay. You can still breathe fully, even with this throat choke. To come out, we avoid the splay out to the best of our ability by bringing knees in towards the head. Then we're going to roll down one vertebra at a time with the help of your hands. If you splay it out, you like rolled out really fast. No stress. We're just working towards a nice gentle descent. Just give yourself a moment. Stillness. You can take the blanket out from underneath you. Give the knees a hug in towards the chest. A little roll side to side. Maybe the head turns to the opposite side. We'll let the knees come down to the right. Left hip stacking over right hip. Left arm opens up like the letter T. Palm face open towards the sky. Gaze can be over those left fingertips. Right hand's landed on top of left knee, and everything's just relaxed. The only effort here is the left shoulder pressing down towards the ground. Head comes back up through center. Knees come up through center. We'll release the knees over to the left. Left hand comes flat on top of right knee. Right arm opens up to the letter T. And the gaze can be over the right fingertips. Supta Matsyendrasana, supine spinal twist. Head comes up through center, knees come up through center, and just notice, is there any last movement or wiggle or stretch that your body's asking for that would round out your practice? Maybe a body part that called out for your attention during our initial body scan that didn't get addressed. Now is the time. Whatever that movement is, it doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name. So allow yourself to naturally move through it as we prepare for Savasana, final relaxation pose. And that might also look like putting on socks or laying that blanket up over your body, as your body temperature will lower in this next exercise. And you can stay reclining. I'm coming up to seated so that I can... Hello, Sabrina. Welcome, welcome. So I can more clearly speak to you through this meditation. So coming to lay flat on your back for Shavasana, final relaxation pose. The legs come to land at least a foot apart. Legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. Perhaps placing the blanket underneath your knees if you do need some extra support in the lower back. Keeping the knees bent here will alleviate that. And the arms land at least 6 inches from the body, palms face open to the sky, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. Eyes come to close if that's comfortable, or else a soft gaze towards the sky. Not looking at anything in particular, just allowing the eyes to rest. We'll start this practice just as we did the last, with 3 cleansing breaths, in through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth. Allow the breathing to continue just in and out through the nose if that's available. Inviting your exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. And every exhale sinks you deeper and heavier into the ground below. Body softening as the weight sinks you down. Space between the teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. And tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth.
bring to mind the night sky over a dark but calm ocean. And the waves, like your breath, lapping up to shore. And in this sky, a bright full moon. Shining its light down upon the waves and your body. And as more of the moon rises, more of its light falls upon you, radiating, healing, illuminating light onto the crown of your head, the center of your forehead, third eye, illuminating your closed eyes, nose and cheeks. And the healing light energy continues illuminating your lips and jaw, ears and whole head. Healing moonlight shining down on your throat and neck, shoulders and chest. Illuminating your arms and hands. Healing your ribs and belly. Healing light traveling down past your abdomen, illuminating your hips, thighs, knees covered in moonlight. Healing light shining down on your shins and ankles, tops of your feet. Whole body illuminated by this healing lunar energy. Whole body healing. Whole body healing. Whole body healing. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. Know that in yoga, practice makes practice. from those dark sea depths, illuminated by moonlight, invite your inhalations to deepen and become longer than your exhalations. The awareness shifts from sinking, heavy feeling to one of lightness and expansion. Awareness lifting to the surface, front side of the body as you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Head can gently rock side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Allow your knees to bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. Fully relaxed and fully supported by the earth below you. You can use your bottom arm as a pillow. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today, or take this opportunity to set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. The first Namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class today. Today we worked on Chandra Namaskar, moon salutations. And the second Namaste is said out loud to one another, to everyone that held this space. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me for practice today. I hope you found something that serves you. I appreciate you all. Thanks to everyone who showed up to practice. I hope you have a really, namaste. I hope you have a really wonderful full moon. Sabrina, John, and Eric on Facebook. Everyone in YouTube, I don't know your real names. And of course, Richney, thank you on Twitch. Richney, Oya, Hydrangea, much love from me to you. Yes, and do accept and appreciate. Oh, Lucy, come say hi. Appreciate tips for $5. You get a recording of class. So if you do ever miss class or really love a class and want to take it again, $5 gets you the private link to the recording of class. And it's appreciated. That's how I've been paying internet and lighting and, you know, just trying to make it work during COVID and all that. But you're welcome here anytime, any day. Completely for free. Your presence is a energetic offering in and within itself. But yeah, my PayPal is linked here to my Twitch, and you can also Venmo me at my full name. Send me a whisper for details. That way I can send you the recording of class too. Please, do you want to put your face in or just your butt? You just want your butt to be recorded? Awesome. I love moon salutations. I would mostly do classes, my higher level, not higher level, but more advanced classes. I always would do them plan them around moon salutations because they're more hip opening and leg lengthening, versus sun salutations are a lot more like chest and upper body strength and shoulders. Which, I mean, you can tell by the way I'm shaped that like upper arms and upper back is like, and chest is like, I'm like pretty bony, but my legs are really, really strong, so I prefer moon salutations, mostly because they're easier for me. But I thought January, it's a lot of people just starting yoga for the first time, and sun salutations are definitely the foundation to most modern. Why are you sitting so far away? It's sad. Come here. Come sit with me. Like just out of frame. Sun salutation is definitely like the foundation to most modern classes, so I thought it would be a good place to start for everybody to get familiarized with the poses that go into that, so that when yoga studios do open up again, you find yourself in one. You're not like, what the hell is a chaturanga? Why didn't Samala ever teach me that? And it's good. It's good to have. It's good